29th, July 2020. How's it going, guys? Check out the geese down here. They're bunching away. Let's get walking, guys.
Oh, look at this one.
Walking the road.
Pretty cool.
I didn't get to finish on my story yesterday, guys, too. I wanted to finish up on the Sears deal. I got many stories of different jobs here. I've worked here in the last 35 some years in Kansas City. So let me finish the Sears deal up. I was working in automotive for over a year. Another thing that happened was after that oil wrench, like I said, some guy stole it. One I was using from one of the other mechanics. So then they gave us a little toolbox with a lock. It had basically our goggles, protective goggles, and all our few tools that we had to do, like an electrical check, replace the batteries, do tires, stuff like that. Well, I come back from lunch one day, and one of the other guys had the keys to the box, and I was busting tires at the time, and I couldn't get to my goggles, and there was no goggles to get. So anyway, I'm putting 4 new tires on this pickup truck, and it was a GM pickup truck, and you know those lug nuts, some of them have that tin that go around the steel part of the nut itself. Well, I couldn't get to no safety goggles, and I was using an air impact, and a piece of metal flew up, caught me in the eye, and stuck in my eye. I had to go to the doctor. Actually, I had to go 2 times, because the first time they couldn't find it, but the second time I went back, they finally got it. It kind of tried to work its way back out, and they pulled it out of my eye. They didn't pay for that either. So, oh yeah, it wasn't Sears. Sears good group to work for. Especially out in Penn Center out there. That was another one. But, very interesting. We'll talk about another place that I worked at. We're going to talk about a lot of places that I worked at. And all the bad things I've seen people do over the years here. Oh my God. You would not believe.
Turtle's out.
Check out the turtle.
He
just dived down. Beautiful day, it ain't too bad. It's warm, but it's not really too hot today.
No, it's pretty nice out.
Let's talk about the toy stores that I worked at for about 3 years, on and off, 2 different toy stores. Worked at Toys R Us for a little over about a year and a half. Started as a cash register person. Like I say, it paid a little bit better than busting tires. But I was pretty fast. Got in there around before Thanksgiving, and they were tracking everybody, counting how many people, and how accurate we were. I did 199 people through my register in 6 hours. No mistakes. So, The problem with all this is about these companies and businesses in Kansas City, they don't ever want to pay any more money. Oh, they're going to promote you. And then another thing I want to get to real quick is about age. Oh, they like talking about age. Where either you're too young or you're too old. They always use that as a lie to be able to mess with your head. If you're too young, you're not responsible enough. If you're too old, you're too slow and you can't do it. So either which way, you're always screwed up, see? So it always keeps them in control of the situation, which is BS. If anybody can do their job, whether they're young or old, and do it correctly, they can do it right. But getting on with this, so they promoted me to ticket writers. So we said, you're doing so good, we're going to promote you to ticket writer to the computer room. And what that was printing out tickets for like bicycles, battery operated vehicles, anything like that. So, and then what was really bad about this was, it wasn't a bad job in that sense, but it paid no more money. It was just the name. I'm a ticket writer now, and I sit here and I do all this, but I'm not getting paid any more money.
Was it easier?
No, it wasn't really easier. It was just a different kind of a job. And it even gets a little better than that. I'll tell you a couple other things here. So, when it comes time to go, they had me go back after I knew everything about it and everything. They wanted to see how much of their stock, some of the old stock and other stuff that wasn't out. I found over 248 items that they didn't even have out on the floor. It was sitting back in the warehouse there. It wasn't even out. From bicycles to, we also did like strollers, baby strollers, different stuff like that. And it was just sitting back there. They didn't even have out.
Cool.
Oh my God.
Unreal.
Yeah, it's unreal. But then it was something else that was kind of funny too. It's not really funny, but it just amazes me how companies will spend thousands upon thousands of dollars on certain things, but they won't pay their employees more. They won't do anything different in lots of different places. Anyway, there was a person over about a couple, 3 months, they had lost like 8 candy bars. So they had this 2 supervisors, they're like warehouse supervisors, because they had different supervisors. They had ones for like on the floor, and then they had ones for ones that stocked at nighttime. And so this is what I was going to say. They put in a security camera system that cost several $1,000s, okay? And they caught the person, prosecuted him. But I was thinking now you got to remember, these candy bars at that time period were probably, I don't know, probably 40 cents, maybe, at most. But I mean, it's not no right to steal or nothing. But can you imagine a place spending that kind of money? To me, it looked like it could have been a little bit more tactful what they could have done and just addressed it with the person or whatever like that it was. But then it makes you wonder, was that person hungry? Were they paying them enough? I mean, they were paying me $5 an hour upstairs. They started me at $6.25 or $6.50 there. That's what I was making there. The toys on that. So without any more, I give it a year and a half. Only comes because other places would have you pass the test though. I'd ace all the tests. I mean ace them. Still, nothing else. No more money, no nothing. So then I went to KD, went back to Independence Center again. And I worked at KD for about a year and a half doing that. That was another thing. And now their system is completely different towards our system. But what was really wild about that was they had these stickers. Everything that they had, the stickers you had to put on every item, but you had to peel them off on actually a slip of paper. So the thing of it was, by the time you got through the end of the day, if you had a whole bunch of items you were putting out in boxes and stuff, I mean, your fingers almost halfway bled. Is how bad it was from the glue from peeling each individual sticker off instead of having like a regular price gun like you would use. Not good. And it even gets better. Hy-Vee, at the end of the year, with their toys, instead of giving them to, like, if they wrote them off, instead of giving them to charity or something like that, we were ordered to take all those toys and crush all of them.
What?
And we crushed many, many dumpster loads of brand new toys.
Not good.
Yeah, it wasn't good. That was another thing I was thinking of at that time period too. That a lot of little kids, could have had something. Oh my God! But then you wonder how these companies, some of them, probably end up where they are today. That's two more stories I'll give you on that anyway for the toy places that I worked at. Like I said, I got lots of stories. A lot of things, seen a lot of things. Oh, not counting that at Toys R Us, when you get up there, half the time, the manager or supervisors didn't show up to open the door. Sometimes they were a half hour, 45 minutes late. You know, what good is that? And then these people were making a lot bigger money, okay? You'd think they could at least be on time. That's not the case. It seems it's like, let's see how far we can get away with, how much we can get away with. Insane.
Were they just 5 minutes late, or how late?
No, we're talking, 20 to 45 minutes late. Sometimes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Wasn't good. Wasn't good at all. Crazy stuff. And I guess I could talk about an apartment complex I worked at for 3 years too. Oh boy, that's another one. It was a $6.8 million complex. It was owned by a lady down, and this was a humdinger. I started as a groundskeeper there. And every job I've ever started at, you think, okay, well, if you're going to stay, depending on what you're getting paid and what you're doing, it's like, okay, I'm a groundskeeper. They told me, said my job was to pick up trash, shovel snow, make sure all the trash is picked up. It's a big property, pretty good sized property. I think it had like 234, 236 feet. I think it's like 234 units. So I did that for the first year. I stood out in the rain, the snow, 8 hours a day or better doing that stuff, non-stop. I like the walking though. I enjoy walking. That's good. But then they got an idea. I seen 3 different managers and assistant managers get fired and replaced there. Oh my gosh, it was not good. We had one group that come in. There's 2 gals that come in, and they managed it for a while for them down there. And what was bad is, like, sometimes people will give stuff to charity and different things. There's lots of things that set my mind. There's a person that had a couple of video machines, arcade video machines. And they wanted to make sure they got to charity, okay? And they had to go ahead, they went ahead and moved out of the apartment. But when they moved out, the manager and assistant manager stole the video games and sold them. Oh, yeah. Not good. So many things I seen go on you wouldn't believe over there on that property. Had a couple other maintenance guys come in, older guys come in to work with. And then they started me in, they wanted me to be a maintenance. So I did that. Got through all that. And when you've got my HVAC, like I told you, I read that book and went Charles D. Jones, passed the test, got all that stuff done. And it wasn't good though, because the budgets there, I mean, were not that great. It was like I say, it was expensive complex, but they only had about a $1,500, $2,000 budget for anything breakage. That's not a whole lot when you consider locks, refrigerators, garbage disposals. You know, you can eat that money up pretty quick. You can't spend money all the time, but you can't do that. And then they had us robbing from one place to take to another place. One time we had 30 units down there. And then, like when the lady that would come in from Houston would come in, the only thing they were concerned about was pleasing her. We had to get, what was main priority was getting a whole bunch of balloons blown up. We had to blow a whole bunch of balloons up. That was the most important thing. Now we had people with, sometimes depending if it was in the wintertime or the summertime, whether it was heater or furnaces out, we had ones with air conditioners out, but that didn't matter. It was those balloons were main priority. Now why the manager and assistant manager couldn't have blown the balloons up, I'll never know. But that was another crazy thing too. Lots of different things I've seen there. Oh my God. Lots of different things.
Did you have to blow them up by hand? Or?
Sometimes we did have to blow them up by hand. Several times they got actually helium so we could blow them up. It was crazy. It was just, but I mean, it wasn't about really the people there. And it was just like then they'd come up here, go down to the plaza, they'd go down and have fun for a while, the owner and all that, and they'd be back out of here. A lot of these places here that are owned here, these people, they live in different places. They live in California, they live in Florida, they live in, you know, down there by Galveston and the rest, Padre Island and the rest. Dude, crazy stuff. People just don't realize. They had another group. There was a limo service. Now this is another word really gets funky. There's two old guys, there was maintenance guys I was working for. This was like about 2 years into it. I was doing the groundskeeping and doing maintenance with them too. Okay. So I'm walking one day, and we knew that this one group, they always had limos. This guy was always working on limos on the doors. Well, one of the old guys, both of them were union guys. Both of them, one of them, he didn't like the union anymore, but one was still in the union. And he told me, he said, well, they're dealing drugs over there. He said they're bringing drugs in through the limo service here in Kansas City. And first I thought, you know, oh, that couldn't be. Well, yeah, it could be. Because what happened one day, I'm walking out there around, and they had dropped rolls this big of $100 bills all over the ground out there by the townhouse. Now, I tell this one guy, I like this one guy, older guy, more than this other one. He had a good moral personality. He actually had been out in California and done surfing and all that. He's talked about all different stuff out there. But I tell him about it. He says, where? He says, you go show me where the money is right now. Because he was going to go get it. Well, the time we got back over there, it was gone. They had picked it back up. But interesting. It just shows me how people are. You know, I mean, I would have never ever thought of picking that money up, ever. So, you know, it's just unbelievable. And that townhouse over there, there's something else they don't know about that townhouse. In one of the door frames, that guy, he cut a hole out of the door and he put a sensor in there, basically kind of like a push button, So if somebody opened the door, if anybody was coming in, or the cops or anybody was coming in, he'd know it before they ever started up the steps or anywhere else. That's still there, because we had to varnish over that thing. I don't know if it's been painted over or everything else, but lots of things here in Kansas City, like I say. But you know, it's just like anything. If you're honest and do the right thing, what's to get you in the end? Well, I guess that's why they're all dealing drugs and running guns here in KC, right? Must be. But we're going to talk about some other stories later on. Oh, one other thing, guys. Forgot to talk about that apartment complex. Apartment that's down there at the very end corner, at the bottom of the hill, should have never been. It should have been a storage place, because that apartment has been robbed so many times. We had to put bars up on two of the upper and the lower. But when thieves go to rob places like that, they look for where nobody's around and an easy access. Well, a lot of people don't realize that there, but when they rent those two apartments, one above the other down there at that corner, that's why. Not good. And the recluse spiders are terrible. While I was there for the 3 years I was there working there, 2 gals got bit. One gal's arm, I don't know if they had to amputate it or not, was rotting off from the bite.
Thanks.
Down there. But terrible recluse spiders down there. They had some cool stuff though. They had some groundhogs that would come up down there on the corner end down there. You could watch it. You didn't know it down there by the dumpsters and stuff. Oh, I got stung by some wasps down there too. That's another thing. Those dumpsters, wasps just love to get in around them. If you're clean up around those dumpsters like that. Definitely have to be careful. I don't know if that limo service is still in business here. Like something out of the movies or something. You can imagine. Can you imagine that? Maybe tomorrow, guys, we'll talk about some like downtown jobs that I've had, or out in Lee Summit. I worked at labs, done hazmat material, a little bit of everything. Anyway, have a good one, guys.